And for those of you out watching, do the YouTube stuff. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. It helps.
Do it. It's free. It's free. Turn off. Turn on. Do everything. Looks like we are ready to go racing. Rolling start here. Josh Moment leading the way. And it is go, go, go time! Josh Moment with the lead. It looks like we're side by side further back between Fernando B and Vetter Dan. Coming into turn one, will they get it slowed down enough to take this turn carrying as much speed as possible? Those cars are full of fuel. The weight is high. The tire wear is real. Coming into the chicane, looks like we're single file all the way through. Metal in the background goes off. He goes too deep. Is he able to get back on track? That puts Geezer Gears up into P6. We got side-by-side action as well as we see Fernando B and Vetter Dan. Oh, is he spinning around? Oh no, Vetter Dan falling back into last place. Looking up here, Josh Moment maintaining the lead. PHG Stiggy, then Fernando B. It's a Ferrari 1, 2, 3. Roxanne Wolf, the first Corvette in P4. That was a little surprising. We saw Metal go off into the chicane, missing his braking zone. And we saw Vetter Dan and Fernando B going at it into Lesmo 1. And unfortunately spinning out. Metal picking up a half-second penalty. That's good news for Vetter Dan.
We do have the replay of Metal here. Let's see what happened there going into that first chicane. It's coming around in P6. Just touch the grass. And as soon as you touch the grass, it makes your car wiggle. Oh, and he even got reset.
Yeah, he felt like he was going to go into the back of Roxanne. I think he was going to be safe, but those little adjustments to try to avoid contact just made the situation worse for him overall. And thankfully that reset, it doesn't put you too far back, and you have to slow down so much for that chicane anyways. It's not as bad as some of the other resets. As we see Stiggy now putting the moves on Josh Moment, going up the inside of Lesmo 1. Is Josh going to be able to hang it on around the outside? He is. Enough room was given. Very respectful racing. And Stiggy, though, on the inside. Josh on the out. Oh, there we go. Stiggy up into P1. We saw the battle between the two of them in the last race that caused Stiggy to run wide. This time, Stiggy was on the inside, and everybody made it through cleanly. Oh, Josh Moment fighting back now on the outside, which becomes the inside. And boom, Stiggy has to let him by because he cooked that first corner a bit much and gets a little wiggy on exit, allowing Fernando B. The battle of the Ferraris up front is happening, and you see off in the background, Roxanne Wolf 5 seconds back, hoping to be a part of the party. I see further back, Vetter Dan has Geezer Gears and Metal having served that half-second penalty, trying to catch up with his Corvette compadres.
It looks like they're all just right at that limit for the slipstream. You know, I don't know if it'd be worthwhile for like Dan to slow down a little bit, like Geezer Gears catch up, and to actually help their lap times out.
It's so hard to do as a racer.
Right.
To slow down, right? But maybe he will. Josh Moment coming into the chicane for the third time. Nice and smooth through there. Fernando B holding on. Stiggy in between the two. It's PHG and a BHR sandwich. I've seen that before.
It looks like Fernando is just outside of slipstream range. Stiggy still is holding on to that toe from Josh Moment, keeping him honest. I mean, Josh Moment had a heck of a qualifier with just a blazing time, but Stiggy is sticking to him.
He really is, and it may have just been that soft tire On the medium, maybe he's not quite as comfortable to push it to its limits in some of these corners. So all drivers are on the medium tire. Be interesting to see what kind of stints we get. And Fernando B has picked up a 2-second penalty going through Ascari there. Unfortunate to see. That's really going to put him on the back foot, but will allow Roxanne Wolf. Let's see, what did he do here?
Looks like the replay missed it.
Just missed it, but clearly either cut a corner or ran too wide just before. Probably cut that first corner a bit too much. But that's going to bring Roxanne Wolf into play.
Yeah, Roxanne is 6 seconds back. That 2-second penalty, they'll gain 2.5, 3 seconds right there. They can get a handle on the Corvette, possibly run them down. But, I mean, Fernando had that solid P2 in the first stint. See if he can hold on to that.
We did. We are on lap 4. No one has taken the Joker yet. We are pretty far away from the pit window. So things are probably going to kind of stay as they are, barring any mistakes. And then we'll get the fun shakeups of the Joker and the pit stops. But Roxanne Wolf's just sitting in no man's land. Josh Moment with a good 1.6 second lead. Going through Ascari for the 4th time.
Bit of a slide there on the exit, but he had mentioned in the chat he's really enjoying the few laps he's put on this Ferrari, being more planted and better to drive than that 177. And he's showing it. He went from, he finished last in the previous race. He is solidly in first so far.
He is. Fernando B did serve his penalty, but it doesn't seem to have allowed Roxanne Wolf to gain any ground. But I see a turn signal. We got ourselves a Joker lap. PHG Stiggy getting the Joker lap out of the way on lap 5. That allows Fernando B and, oh, a bit of contact with Roxanne Wolf. We were talking about that. Drivers going at speed, coming into that turn, and drivers coming out of the Joker lap. Thankfully, it was just a little door rubbing, and everybody's able to maintain their keeping their car pointed in the right direction. We'll take a look at this again, and you can see they're wanting to come in for the apex, and ooh, a little wiggle under braking in the Corvette, able to keep going. I think that threw them off a little bit, seeing Stiggy come out right then.
Yeah, I've seen that in the Corvette, and I ran into it many times while testing. Going into that first turn under braking, if you're turning it before you get off the brakes, it'll shoot you towards that apex unexpectedly. It looks like that's what happened there. Thankfully, like you said, all they did was door bang a little bit.
That's one driver with the Joker taken care of. Everybody else will need to do that. I'm curious Stiggy's thoughts of taking that when he did. Maybe it was that he knew he was going to get collected by Roxanne and would have a slipstream partner.
Yeah, quite possibly. Maybe just needed to get away from the Ferraris. You know, maybe they like the cleaner air more so than the than
and
following
Josh Moment
somebody.
is taking the Joker. You caught that? Okay, good. I was looking at a different screen. Josh Moment getting that Joker out of the way, falling into P2, allowing Fernando B up into P1, and just behind are Roxanne Wolf and Stiggy. So what do you think? Do you think Fernando does the Joker this lap?
You know, I don't know. He might want to just sort of hang out in the lead for a little bit. You'll see what he can do without having any distractions in front.
See a little tail wiggle from him. The Ferrari just asks to be drifted. I know it's not great on the tires, but as far as an enjoyable drive goes, getting that thing sideways, it looks like Stiggy in the background there is going to get back by Roxanne Wolf. Roxanne is going to have to tuck into the slipstream. Seeing that straight line speed of the Ferrari, allowing Stiggy to catch back up. See that again. You can see Roxanne had a compromised exit. Stiggy with a much better exit. Not much to be done there other than tuck back in and hope that they can stay in the slip.
Well, Roxanne picked up a penalty too.
Oh, full second penalty, and Stiggy's already pulling away, so Corvette is struggling there. It looks like we're pretty spread out, except for Roxanne and Stiggy, but with Roxanne serving that second penalty, you can see Vetterdan looming in the background, hoping to capitalize. We are on lap 7.
He is 4 seconds back, so he'll have to do a little bit of making up to get all the way up there, but again, trying to get those Corvettes to work together.
Gonna need to do it.
We've seen this in some of the previous events. Like, you get the new guys that show up into Split 2, and they tend to struggle. Like, it doesn't even matter what car they're in. The guys who got those initial 20 laps in always seem to do better. I mean, the practice really pays off in these races.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, because I did see Metal had said in the chat he hasn't had any practice. Same with Geezer Gears. So going in cold. We know that Vetterdan had a little bit of practice earlier on when you had a lobby open. So Roxanne serving the penalty is now way off of Stiggy. Vetterdan closing in, but still a little far off to do anything. Looking inside that Corvette. What a cool looking car. I like that that dash there.
All the classic dials on the Corvette, but then you get that tachometer bar. They had that back in the C4s even. That was always cool.
Yeah. The S2000 is like that. Oh, and Roxanne Wolf is taking the Joker in P5.
There we go.
Get that out of the way. Where are they going to come out in comparison? Pretty far ahead of Geezer Gears and still a ways off Vetterdan. So that is 3 drivers, right? Stiggy, Josh, and Roxanne Wolf have done their Joker and gotten that out of the way.
Those are the ones that we've caught anyway. There always tends to be somebody that can kind of sneak one in there.
Sneak one in, yeah. From what I've seen, based on the times of everybody, I guess, yeah, they're all close enough that I don't think anyone else has done it. But Josh Moment has caught up to Fernando B. Really putting down some lap times. Currently fastest lap of a 136.631. That's a cool number. That's 136.631. You don't see that every day.
Well done. Somebody screenshot that.
That's driver of the day right there. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
He's so good. He planned that.
Yeah, he planned it.
It's interesting to see the difference in tire wear between Fernando and Josh Moment, which is just indicative of their driving style. You see, Josh Moment has a lot more rear tire degradation than up front, whereas Fernando's is pretty even.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And that could be the difference between a pad player and a wheel player.
Also true.
Because when I did those laps at the start, Josh all over the back of him. Is he going to get it going into Lesmo 1? Late on the brakes, he leaves space. They are teammates. Fernando getting a little squirrely there and runs wide. Josh takes full advantage. And that is P1 for Josh Moment.
He's there to pounce.
He was there to pounce indeed.
Stiggy picks up a 1 second.
Oh, that is unfortunate for Stiggy. I was surprised when I was doing those laps earlier today on the controller. I never use controller, and how much easier it was to brake with the controller versus, because I have the load cell pedal, so you do have to push. Oh, Fernando B picks up a 2-second penalty as well. He's struggling with Ascari. It seems to get the better of him. And Stiggy serving the penalty, NP3.
Still 6 seconds ahead of Vetterdan.
Yep, absolutely. Vetterdan staying ahead of Roxanne Wolf. So Fernando B, Vetterdan, Geezer Gears, and Metal still needing to take their Joker. And I see Leo Las Vegas has joined the chat and joined the lobby. Welcome, my friend.
Welcome, Leo. Vetterdan opting not to get the Joker lap out of the way yet. Again, we're seeing that front left degrading faster than the rear left. I saw Stiggy in the Ferrari here. Well, actually, about a lap ago, the front and rear were a lot more even. It looks like we are starting to see more of that rear tire degradation, but not quite as extreme as what we see on Josh and
Fernando. Yeah. Yeah, Josh's tire wear, we saw it in the last race. He was the first to pit, and I imagine he's going to be the first to pit today, or in this race.
And I'm sure he's asking himself right now. He's on the 10th lap. We're at the halfway point. Does he pit now and just go with a second set of mediums, or does he see if he can ride it out another 3 laps and maybe do the second stint on a set of softs?
Potentially. Oh, no, that rear is losing grip. He is not comfortable on that. Further, or just behind him, Fernando Button racked up 6 seconds in penalties.
Oh my.
He just served a 6-second penalty, and he and Stiggy are coming into the pits.
See, Vetterdan also coming in the pits. His tire's only halfway down, but not feeling very comfortable with it. You know, Roxanne on our last one was the tire whisperer, but that front left is eaten up on that Corvette, more so than what Vetterdan had.
And that's just because these cars, the Corvette is so much better in the corners. It has that front bite that the Ferrari doesn't have. And so while you gain time in the corners, it clearly wears the tires more. Geezer Gears also going into the pits, Metal to follow. So Josh Moment, Roxanne Wolf yet to pit. Both have done their Jokers. Fernando B has not. Fernando B just ahead of Roxanne Wolf. Or Roxanne Wolf just ahead of Fernando B. You know, reverse it.
Yeah, so Josh Moment now has a commanding lead. But Roxanne is now our top Corvette runner. But Roxanne has yet to pit.
Indeed, and Fernando has yet to Joker, but the pit definitely hurts you more than the Joker. As we're seeing that straight line speed of the Ferrari on display. But this has been Fernando's kryptonite. He has picked up a 2-second penalty here the last 2 laps. And he makes it through safely. Roxanne Wolf almost losing it on the exit, but manages to tuck it back in. And you can see just behind Stiggy and Vetterdan all hoping something pops off and they can take advantage. Coming into Parabolica, this is the end of lap 10 for them because Josh is already on lap 11. Or no, this is the end of lap 11. Josh is already on lap 12. As you see Stiggy now showing off that Ferrari's legs. Look at those legs. Beautiful, gorgeous. Roxanne Wolf has nothing they can do other than to watch the prancing ponies go by.
Yeah, coming out of Parabolica there, Roxanne was right on Fernando and was probably really hoping to gain that extra speed coming down the straight. But the fact that Fernando had already pitted was able to carry so much more speed with those fresher tires. than Roxanne, who's struggling with that front left. Just wasn't able to stay glued behind him. So you see how much time lost on that straightaway.
Yeah, I'm afraid this is really going to hurt Roxanne. While Betterdan has not done his Joker lap, he has pitted, and he is right there. So the overcut not working today so far, because Roxanne is going to lose at least one position in their pit stop.
Yeah, I think the Joker lap in my testing, you lose about 10 seconds of time taking the Joker lap, but that's less than the time lost in the pit. So Betterdan should come out ahead when this is all said and done.
That is what I'm thinking as well. Good to see these drivers all so close together here, and you can see Roxanne struggling. Are they going? Yeah, they're in the pits. Turn signal is on, going in the pits. That releases Betterdan. Now, if I were Betterdan, I would do my Joker lap right now.
Yeah, but he's already passed the commitment line, so he would have had to have had his turn signal already in order to do it. Oh, and we just had Fernando doing the Joker lap.
There we go. Fernando B taking care of his Joker. And that moves Betterdan up. And you know what? I take back what I said. I think Betterdan had the right play, carrying that momentum. He's going to at least get one lap put in between him, Fernando, and Roxanne. And maybe he can come out and stay in that P3.
I think Roxanne was trying to play the long game and was hoping to get another. I think if they would have gotten another lap or two out of those tires, could have come out on the softs and then run everybody down.
And that was the strategy they ran in the first race, but different car.
Yeah, it looks like here in the Corvette, wasn't quite able to manage the tires as well. And oh, speaking of managing the tires, Josh has barely made it to the end of lap 13. That left rear screaming for mercy.
And that leaves Stiggy to push here. 28 seconds. Stiggy. I think the undercut is the way to go here. It seems that you lose too much time going long. Unless no way Josh makes it on the softs to the end. Josh is going to come back out on the mediums. And he manages to come out ahead of Stiggy. We'll see what kind of momentum, though, going into turn one. Because that gap is coming down, but Josh able to maintain. And he will have better tires at the end of this race as well for waiting as long as he did.
Yes, all of Stiggy's tires still look pretty good. You know, hitting at the end of lap 10, it looks like, and splitting them. But as we saw in the first race, with the lighter fuel load, the tires on these Ferraris last a lot longer on the second stint.
Yep.
Betterdan is not far behind Fernando, although I believe Betterdan still needs to take his Joker lap.
Yeah, we at least haven't seen it. So I do think he still needs to, and we know that straight line speed of the Ferrari is a doozy. So, but Fernando has been picking up the penalties this race, so not to say that it doesn't end up being that Betterdan's able to catch back up. Look back on metal in the kit, Knight Rider Mobile. You know, Daily Race A last week in the Ferrari Testarossa, somebody did their Ferrari like a kit, like a Knight Rider car, and it was in my rearview mirror. I was born late '80s, but I grew up watching, because all my siblings are older, Knight Rider, the A-Team, and MacGyver. Like, those were my favorite shows as a very young kid.
I did enjoy Knight Rider quite a bit.
I enjoyed all of that. Was a big fan. A-Team was my favorite, but I liked them. Betterdan still holding on to Fernando there. Only 1.3 second gap. Gets a little squirrely under braking there into this, what is usually a flat out corner.
He's only 1.3 back. If he could take this, you know, the twisty section of the track here now and close that gap, you could have the slipstream on the straights. Especially out of Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2 here. Did catch up, is less than a second off.
Oh, runs a little wide there. And, you know, having that presence in your mirror, and we know how fast Vetter Dan is, that's a lot of pressure on Fernando. It's a lot of pressure on Fernando.
Fernando coming up to Ascari.
This is where he struggled most. Vetter Dan looking smooth. And it looks like Fernando gets through quite well as well. Maintaining over a second gap. So good on both of them getting through that cleanly.
That's got to be so frustrating for Vetter Dan. He's like right at that border where he's not getting the slipstream, but he can taste it.
For me, like being in the slipstream is great, but being able to see the car ahead, that's so crucial. Being able to see your target versus looking at the delta and seeing the time go down.
All right, we're getting towards the end of this race, and Vetter Dan either snuck in his Joker lap when we didn't see it, or is waiting until the end to finally bite that off.
Pretty confident he hasn't done it yet, based on where he's played out. I think if he had done it, he would be further back, because Roxanne did their Joker lap, and that allowed Vetter Dan to get ahead. I would imagine that hasn't happened yet, but Vetter Dan still with a 12-second gap on Roxanne should come out ahead. Josh Moment with the commanding 14-second lead.
Yeah, has really pulled away from Stiggy in this second stint here. Has a 1:36 flat as the fastest lap.
Very nice, very nice. I did see on my screen earlier Stiggy ran wide, and I don't remember if it was Lesmo 2 or Parabolica. But that would make sense why Josh has been able to pull a bit more of a gap. And I'll keep my eye on Vetter Dan here while we look at everybody else, and I'll let you know if he ends up taking that Joker lap, because I am very curious to see Fernando B coming around Roxanne Wolf in P5.
Has gotten that Corvette down to a 138.397 as a fastest
very
lap.
Impressive. They're having to do a different strategy, medium, than they did in the first stint, being in a different car. So
Josh Moment on that last lap dips the fastest lap below the 136 barrier. He is flying.
He really is. That is impressive. Got Metal back there. Geezer Gears not too far off Metal. Metal and Geezer Gears, no practice. Both of them come in cold, so.
It looks like Geezer Gears' last 2 laps, he's been in the 139s. So he's getting some more speed, just needs to get that consistency down. You know, now that they'll have a race under their belt, if they stick around for a third split, I would assume they would be quite a bit faster.
Oh, and we did miss Vetter Dan's joke. He did his Joker lap 14. So there we go. We did miss it. Lap 14, he did his Joker lap. And looking, you're right, it is exactly a second. If you look at his lap times,
yes.
A 138.088 and then a 148.083.
So he's poised to finish in P4. Oh, and Fernando with the 1 second penalty. This could be the opportunity that Vetter Dan has to possibly get ahead of him.
Vetter Dan on track for a podium. Also further back, Metal had picked up a 2.5 second penalty coming out of Ascari. Or I'm sorry, coming out of Parabolic, or Lesmo 1 and 2. You know, the racetrack.
Michael, that's not how you're supposed to drive myself.
Exactly. So it is on for Vetter Dan. Excited to see, and I love that he has the wherewithal to type into chat, letting us know that he already did the Joker. And he's on a personal best right now, so he is moving. Man on a mission, can't find a better Dan.
Yeah, he's been able to reduce Fernando's lead without the help of the penalties. So with this penalty coming up after Ascari, if he's able to get a bit of distance, it's going to be a fight going into turn 1.
I like it. Tire wear between the two. Fernando's, the fronts are about the same, but the rear is the big difference. And we're going to see as Fernando goes deep into Ascari, hopefully that doesn't pick up more of a penalty. Dirty tires, bad exit. Fernando's going to get it done before the penalty line. And now Fernando has 2 laps to try to catch.
Now he's going to make up a lot of time on the straightaway here, but if Vetterdan can hold it through turn 1, he's got to try to pull away through the twisty section in order to maintain that lead and try to break up whatever additional speed he can give Fernando with the slipstream. With Fernando's not tucking in behind him. Well, now he's behind him.
Yeah, and that went from a 1.6 second gap to less than a second on that straight. So that's 0.6 faster, the Ferrari, than the Corvette on that start-finish straight. That is incredible.
Now Vetterdan is able to brake so much later that he gets, I mean, he's got his lead back up to a 1.6.
Yeah.
This looks like it's the battle of the race. As that time just kind of yo-yos back and forth.
Josh Moment trying to get that 20-second gap, he said in chat. And he's almost there, 19.7. Metal further back, continuing to get penalties. And that's going to allow Geezer Gears to catch him, I think, by the end of this lap.
Fernando throwing that car around, getting out of Ascari. Was able to hold on to it, though, so he's going to reel Vetterdan in some more.
It ain't over. Coming up on the final lap. It's just this straight line speed on this Ferrari is insane.
Got a slightly better exit than Vetterdan. So in addition to the straight line speed, like Vetterdan's going to keep it. He's going to have to hold him off.
See the rear letting go of Fernando back there. Fuel tanks are low.
And they're both fighting hard.
Ooh, Fernando keeps it on track. Josh Moment.
Josh up here at Ascari. Just checking in on where he was at.
And Metal did get passed by Geezer Gears, serving all those penalties. He ended up racking up 3 seconds worth of penalties. So that allowed Geezer Gears through as they start their final lap. Josh Moment, streets ahead, as they say. Streets ahead. He managed that 20-second gap. And that's our winner for round 2. Mr. Josh Moment. Stiggy, solid race. Coming in P2, fighting hard with Fernando and Josh getting up there. Running wide, keep it straight. Keep it straight, don't lose it. Nice style. Ooh, you know what? You should be better at that.
Looks like Vetterdan had gotten away from Fernando and was able to hold on to it to be the top Corvette in this split.
Very nicely done for Vetterdan. Roxanne Wolf, unfortunately, their race just didn't pan out the way they would have liked. They were the lead Corvette and now are finishing P5. That's how you're supposed to do it. Well done, Roxanne.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Geezer Gears up in P6. Metal not far behind. Tire-wise, Metal looks like has not as good a tire. Geezer Gears has the advantage of Parabolica.
That finishes the race. They really weren't that far behind for a 20 lap race and having done 0 practice. So good showing, good showing.
Well, congratulations to Josh Moment, gets a win. Pole position and the win in this race.
And fastest lap, it just didn't show it for some reason.
Yes. Oh, geez, he got it down to a 135.798.
Yeah, he was flying. He was on another level.
All right, take us through the results here, TK.
Yeah, that is Mr. BHR Josh Moment in the Ferrari, P1, P2, PHG Stiggy in the Ferrari. Rounding out our podium in P3 is PHG Vetter Dan in the Corvette. Then we have BHR Fernando B in the Ferrari for P4. P5 Roxanne Wolf in the Corvette. P6 PHG Geezer Gears in the Corvette. And P7 Metal. Solid race though from everyone. Much improvement for those who are just joining in. So